Hey guys, welcome to Know Your Christory. Today I'm going to drop some amazing historical facts of tea on you on some of the things that you thought you knew, but I promise you were probably wrong. I had an amazing shoot planned out, but unfortunately due to real life issues, people couldn't make it. There were cancellations and things like that. Today I intend to go from films to serial killers to possible not serial killers. If you know Chris Rock, and if you've seen any of my material before, you know that I love discussing the tea of films. There's a lot of great classics that we all grew up with, especially us 90s kids. I was born in 87, so I consider myself a 90s kid. If that makes any sense. Yeah, you're not really a kid until you're at least 3. I'm one of the good ones. I'm both an 80s baby and a 90s kid. But welcome to the show. Today I wanted to start off by discussing Elizabeth Bathory. That's right, we're going to be discussing the first female prolific serial killer and the first female prolific serial killer of the modern West, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. Interestingly enough, since a lot of these murders were based off of rumor and hearsay, she was still put into Guinness Book of World Records without any kind of issue. That's right, you can get put into the Guinness Book of World Records with apparently no confirmation needed. But let's discuss it. Elizabeth Bathory, did she do it? Well, let's start off with some of the facts. A, she was born into money and wealth. That's right, she had it made and was paid, baby. On top of that, she had land. That's a huge deal back in the day, especially when that was one of the biggest resources. Not so fun fact, the poor thing had epilepsy and she suffered horrifically from seizures. But let's really think about it. Can you imagine living your whole life, Game of Thrones style, in a castle? We are talking about the 1600s here. It's been 30 seconds and there's now another train passing by every time I try to do any kind of take. Fun fact, Bathory was married for 30 years. And as much as she was married to her husband and had 5 kids, she took on lovers, and so did her husband. That's right, those two was fresh! Her land and wealth made her a huge threat to the powers that be. I mean, Hungary was in serious war at the time and was riddled with rivals. Speaking of rivals, she actually financially supported her nephew, Gabor. Yes, Gabor Bathory. Yes, exactly. And he was the leader of Transylvania. And of course, with perfect timing, Hungary was a rival to Transylvania. Hungary was rivaling with Transylvania. Transylvania was rivaling with Hungary. Elizabeth Bathory was known for some horrific things. But let's get real. This was mostly hearsay, okay? The truth is that there was no actual proof. Unfortunately, in the 1600s, it was not uncommon to seize a woman's land due to her being, let's say, mischievous or mysterious, or perhaps in witchcraft, or even for the sexual misconduct.
Sexual misconduct means they're acting fresh.
This whole investigation smells like funk, and not the good kind of funk, not the get down kind of funk. They're like, this is some BS kind of funk. First things first, seizing a woman's land was not uncommon. They would just make things up. She's in witchcraft, she's a deviant, she does sexual misconduct. That means they was acting fresh. Not just that, but she was basically investigated by her family. Now, don't get me wrong, Bathory was not innocent by any means. It was pretty much well known around that Bathory was really not kind to her lower class staff. And much of her estate took up a lot of land surrounding the entire town. Now again, Bathory is really heavily debated amongst historians. But if you look at what she's known for, I mean, I have posters of this chick. Alright, I got t-shirts that I got for Des that say Bathory. Alright? A, the king of Hungary owed her crazy amounts of money. And what's a good way to make that debt go away? By making the problem go away. Don't you agree? Don't you know politics? And let's not forget, since we're talking about the 1600s, women were not known for violent crime. They were known for not being capable of violence. So this was huge news around the land. You guys ever heard the phrase, no one hates like family? Well, guess what? In Elizabeth Bathory's case, it's true. Anyways, when the investigation basically was launched, her children were pretty much warned, hey, guess what? Even if she goes to jail, you still get your inheritance early. So play along, in which they were of no help. I wonder why. They were about that money. Another element of this pot of tea is that the investigation was led by her cousin, who was probably biased in getting her out of that land. Her cousin led that investigation, and believe it or not, he went around to 289 individuals and got their testimony. Let's think about the math here. 289 people, it's a lot of heads. But remember, he went to the people surrounding her estate. You're going to go to the folks that work for the lady and live surrounding the castle. They don't have good things to say. I wouldn't have anything good to say about the big castle in my town. Since her cousin was leading the investigation, was probably not on her side, I find it strange that he was able to get 289 testimonials from individuals. Let's really think about that. If I lived in a castle and I was rumored to be a bad guy, and you interviewed everyone surrounding my castle, of course they're going to be sipping on haterade. And yes, it's true. There have been stories of her bathing in virgin's blood, killing virgins, spike gloves that she would slap her servants with, and also mutilating young bodies. However, when I come to think of it, I think a lot of this should go to her husband. That dude was rumored to actually cover a girl in honey and watch the bugs come eat her. If that doesn't sound Game of Thronesy, I don't know what does. And another thing, how did all these accusations of murder, soaking in virgin's blood, spiked gloves, and tales about how she would mutilate corpses? I mean, where did that come from? Those rumors came out about 100 years after her death. Another fun fact I learned making this episode of Know Your Christory is that Elizabeth Bathory's husband actually took one of her lovers and castrated him and fed him to dogs. Do you still think it was Elizabeth? Elizabeth Bathory is actually quite often compared to Vlad the Impaler. Now, Vlad the Impaler is also from Transylvania, which is where her cousin was and the leader of, but it's just a coinky-dink. Bathory was known to have thrashed her servants, and unfortunately, since she was known for this, a lot of people kept their children hidden from her, which probably fueled the whole hide your kids, hide your wife thing from Bathory. In conclusion, I'll be honest. Do I think that this woman was innocent? Absolutely not. I think she beat the crap out of her servants. I think she treated anyone beneath her like trash. And I think that was also common practice at the time. We're talking, let's not even get into the 1600s. That's a different conversation for a different day. But at the same time, I want you to realize, oh shit. But at the same time, it seems as though this is all hearsay and initially probably stories made up by royals and family members to take that land. I mean, you got people these days that trip on purpose in Walmart for a check. Imagine what family and friends will do and royals will do. I think this is a hit job. I'm sorry. I know it might not be popular belief. It might be an unpopular opinion. I don't think the evidence is leaning towards her as the guilty one. Maybe her husband. He seemed like a real piece of shit. Elizabeth Bathory was rumored to be a killer, a bathed in blood. The list goes on and on. However, what people don't discuss much is the list of things that were more in her favor. For example, her cousin was in charge of the investigation and was pretty much jealous and wanted her land. The local king of Hungary, he owed her a significant debt, a significant amount of money. What's a quick way to make that go away? It also wasn't uncommon at the time to make allegations towards women of witchcraft and other such sluttery and fuckery. So know your Christory. Bathory probably didn't do it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm full of it in some of these facts? Comment down below and let me know. I want to hear from you.